Martin Harren rarely gives interviews, so when the owner of the Harren Group agreed to sit down with me in his office, Project Cargo professionals took a trip to Bremen. Behind Martin sit some of the most respected names in heavy lift shipping, including SAL, Intermarine and Combi Lift. We cover a lot of ground, from his early days as a surgeon before joining the family business.
My goal, coming to surgery, my goal is to survive.
To the philosophy behind the new Orca Class, the blurring line between shipowner and freight forwarder.
Not because we are greedy, because I think that is the best solution.
And what he really thinks about the future of German industry.
I care because I'm still living here and I would be proud.
This is Voices of Breakbulk Europe.
This is very, very interesting.
It's Project Cargo Professionals. We are in Bremen for Voices of Breakbulk Europe, and today I am with Martin Harren, CEO of Harren Group. Martin, thank you very much for giving us an interview. You told me yesterday something of a rarity for you, so thanks for your time and thanks for having us in sunny Bremen.
Thank you for interviewing me and giving me the platform.
Good to see you. So you trained and practiced as a surgeon before joining the shipping business. Talk to us about that and tell us what the similarities are.
Everything has a similarity. I think in surgery, typical in surgery is working quite long hours and that you cannot hide so much. So this, let's say, if you are in the operation theater, then it's very result driven, and this result is not only depending on yourself. This result is this may be a little bit under expected, but it's really a teamwork with all the others which are, let's say, preparing. And in shipping is the same. Our results are very easy to get. If the client is, after all, let's say, happy, if you are in time, the cargo is not damaged in heavy lift, that is a, let's say, success. And if it is not the case, then it's not a success. So, and that is maybe similarity. Long hours is also similar, I guess, and this result-driven, also passionate people, maybe that is a similarity.
Yeah, the results of both are easy to see when things don't go to plan, right?
Yeah, 100%. And this is also a motivating factor, right? If you do something which is very abstract, let's say doing consulting, for example, then your results are a little bit not so easy to see, and it's also not good for motivation, I guess. But if you see your results, let's say very soon, if you're an engineer in our company and then something would go wrong, of course, it's motivating to avoid it.
And for those who don't know, this is a family business started by your father, right? Give us a bit about the history of the company and growing up. Did you always imagine that you would join?
No, more or less the opposite, I have to say. More or less the opposite. My grandfather already had, he was an architect, but for some reason was a kind of side business, two little coaster. Then my father was a captain, had this ship management, let's say, oriented. But I never intended that because my father and myself, we are a little bit different characters, and I always wanted to be a surgeon, and this is what I did. But later on, sometimes also extreme different characters are joining if you're a little bit more mature, from my side. But my father also changed, yeah. So if you then you are like this, and then we came together, and then we tried, and that. Even we always had different fields of, let's say, activity, and we knew both why. And then I would say, from history, he made a foundation and the network and everything else. This was for me, of course, very, very valuable.
This was Peter.
Peter.
Yeah.
Peter.
Is he still involved in the business, or?
No, he's now 80.
Okay.
81.
And tell us how you were different. I read that you said you like to try and find new ways of doing things. How were your styles different?
Still, there are father-sons which are really lookalikes and they're all more or less the same. We are not, but it's also, it was for him a different time. So to start with really nothing, also not coming from an extremely rich background, it was an extremely difficult task for him, and he managed that very well. And for me, when I started, more or less the crisis started. So we had already some significant ships, but they were more or less all in a kind of bankruptcy, let's say, state. So I was raised in a very different environment. So it is, and whatever I did not just. The reference point is not to be different, right? The reference point was at that point to survive and trying to find good ideas.
I'll talk a bit about Bremen, where we are today, and why that's so important to you and the company.
We are very international, as you know, but Bremen and Hamburg is, let's say, these offices are the headquarters. They are not only called headquarters, they are headquarters. There are some functions and some authorities which are only laying in Bremen and Hamburg. I'm personally from Bremen, and that is the heart of the company, Hamburg and Bremen. And Bremen has a huge history, in, as well as Hamburg, in shipping, in the ports. So Bremen is, and Hamburg influenced, I think, all of us very much.
I was reading some interviews and I translated them because there aren't that many English language interviews with you, but I translated the Germans and I think I read...
The reason for that is that my English, apologies to, my English is so bad still. And that comes from surgery, by the way. You have the tendency, if you ask, only to speak about the positive things. But if you're in surgery, if you're working there, let's say downstairs somewhere in the darkness, yeah, not seeing daylight, everything is German.
Okay.
Your colleague, everything is German. So, and I was in school also very bad in English.
Well,
so,
we can understand you perfectly, so no worries about that.
Yeah, you are very polite, yeah.
And at Breakbulk Middle East, I heard you describe yourselves as ultra heavy lift carriers. You said that's the phrase that you liked. Tell us a bit about the business today.
Ultra heavy lift.
Ultra heavy lift.
That was, I was saying that, or somebody?
You said it.
I said it.
Yeah. Or did I get that wrong? Did I mishear?
No, maybe the context would be here, let's say, interesting, because we are not only focusing. I think you are very aware of our fleet, of our very capable vessels, of our new build. You are aware. I more or less know our Orca vessels, our deck carriers, but we also have a lot of MPP vessels in the meantime. In the meanwhile, we have 80 ships, and there is a whole spectrum. And if you would describe us as ultra heavy lift, then it is a little bit misleading because it is only part of our fleet.
Perhaps that's where JSI Alliance comes in, is it? The ultra heavy?
No, SAL with the Orca types, 2 times 800 tons is already in this. Everything above 1,000 tons, whatever people, this you could say is not general cargo anymore. This is highly engineered. And from these kind of vessels, we have an SRL 6, and Jumbo has also 6. Together, we have 12 of these, let's say, above 1,000 tons. And you can call it ultra heavy lift. I think there's not a fixed term. At the end of the day, everything is breakbulk, right? And the reason is that these vessels, if you look at our website and or if you see photos from us, everybody, marketing department like Malte, they all have the tendency to show the pictures with a very complicated cargo, with the...
Of course, the most impressive, the biggest, the heaviest.
But if you would do it more statistically, 365 days, and then you will see sometimes we just... Also on these MPP, without MPP, a general cargo, the 150-ton generator and so on, it is for us still a very important cargo.
So explain the JSI Alliance for people that don't know. I'm sure probably a lot of people do, but talk about the Alliance, how it works, what happens commonly and what doesn't happen commonly, how you operate.
Obviously, it is a great advantage in these niche, where these kind of ships, there are not so many, and the reason for that is that the big shipping companies with 300 vessels or 1,000 vessels, it is not needed. Very rarely you have such a heavy piece and to carry over the ocean, but sometimes you do. There are not so many ships, and in very difficult times, we try to find some synergies for the client, that we have more flexibility, and then we formed a kind of the 2 different owners. We and with these 8 ships from Jumbo, we are by far, let's say, have the biggest fleet to offer, which is of course good. If the fleet is quite small, or it's also for learning. If you in this so specific environment, it's also very important to get experience. And if you have more vessels, and if you have people in Holland, which have done, we're doing this business. We bought the company 8 years ago, as you may know, from K-Line. Yeah. but the experience, let's say, what people have in our company, partly. Jens Baumgarten is sitting over there. He's, I think, 35 years. And this commercial, but still. On the jumbo side, it's the same. And now you throw these very specialist people into one, not one company, but an alliance.
Yeah.
So they talk about the very specific problems, the very specific needs for our customers. And I think that is also part of our reputation, that if something you have to carry, I think if this is also our mantra, maybe it's not sound like a little bit like a marketing, but if we say no, it's not possible, then it should be not possible. Yeah, this is, I think, the worst nightmare for us, that we say no.
How often do you have to say that?
Sometimes not possible. Yeah. This is just physics. Yeah. But of course, we want to avoid that we say no, and then somebody else says, okay, we can do it.
Find a way.
We find a way. You know? So and I guess this is, I would say, difficult to imagine if it comes to a heavy lift. And,
You've described your style and your planning as conservative, but you've also made some bold strategic moves with the acquisitions and so on. So what does conservative mean to you?
I would not conservative in a, let's say, how should I say, mindset, or that I love new things in general, and I'm thrilled by, let's say, new situation in general. Everything. But if it comes to the company, I also have to, let's say, my goal, coming to surgery, my goal is to survive. And I saw very, very bad times. And I know the feeling of having no money. And I know also the feeling, no money is not the worst thing. The worst thing is to have a lot of debt in excess of having no money. And that's what I experienced for years. So I think this is also my responsibility towards the people. Right, and to our clients, to our seafarers, yes, that are not coming and saying, sorry, now we all have to save because we have to restructure. So whatever I do, I really want to avoid actions which are endangering the company. And if you would know me 100%, then you would confirm it. No, okay, we did some bold moves, yes. But if you look into the details, there was never a risk that I go bankrupt with that. Not everything is successful, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And also, you also see on the surface there's a bias in what you see. But I guess we have prepared a little bit, and then you see the transactions and so on, and then you say, oh, a bold guy. But you haven't seen all the things which I have declined, and you don't know and there are many, and you haven't seen all the no's. Yeah. And say, well, it's not for us. It's too big. This is too risky, and so on.
So yeah. Nothing reckless.
No, and if you see our debt quote, what we have with our fleet is significantly below 50% or almost 40%. So I think there's a lot of bad markets in the future, which hopefully are not coming. But if we can survive, this is how it should be. This is what everybody expects from me. Nobody expects bold moves. Everybody expects a little bit of responsibility, that they can always pay what they have to pay.
So how do you assess the financial health of the sector at the moment, in general terms?
In general terms, I think most of the owners have, let's say, experienced since Corona some good years. Obviously, if you really own the vessel, then it's even better, or was better in the past. If you have to charter in the past years, then sometimes, still the charter rates are high. Most companies are, I would say, in a good situation. Some have ordered also a lot, but I think it's still in balance. Mm-hmm. The operators which had to time charter in, I guess, depending what they have done with the money they earned, yeah. If they all distributed it to shareholder, then it's maybe in the moment a bit difficult. But in general, stable competitors.
And you recently consolidated your ocean services under the SAL name, including Intermarine carrying the SAL name for the first time. What's the future of the Intermarine name and brand within the company?
Look, this is very, very interesting. And now having my colleagues in mind, I don't know if Fran Cruz will see that or will see that, but this is, of course, how should I say, that is that is a question which is always discussed. On the one side, our customers, they want to see, for me, that we are consolidated, that it's very easy for them. We have a fleet which many different vessels, different capacities, different crane capacity and different cost. On the other side, we have a worldwide organization. We have 24 offices with different speciality. We have 3 hubs in Houston, in Singapore, and their headquarters in the middle, so we can also have always decisions. But the truth is, as you said, partly it has a background, 35 years of fantastic service of Intermarine. And as you know, people, then there is, of course, on the client side, there is a high appreciation for that brand. For my colleagues in Houston and in New Orleans, it is also very high appreciation. So we did a kind of compromise. Everything is SAL.
Yeah.
But if you look a little bit, let's say, in detail on our marketing, it is more pictures are also from that service. The service will continue to call SAL Intermarine on the side of the ship. So the name Intermarine will survive. Still, everybody has the same, as in soccer, the same jersey. It's an SAL jersey, but some people are still Intermarine, and for customers also very important, so we did this little bit of a compromise. The Intermarine name should survive, because it is a legendary name, as you said, and if you are in South America, sometimes people tell you, yes, my father was working for Intermarine, and it is real, and SAL, nobody knows more or less. Yeah. But still, long term, it is better to have one name because it's easier for everybody, including clients. So, and then I made a compromise. Everybody now has an SAL shirt on, a jersey in green, but the colleagues in the US and the ships have an SAL Intermarine. All the same colors, all the same marketing, but if our general approach to market now, of course, we have heavy lift, or you said ultra heavy lift in our portfolio, but also liner ships connecting Houston with the Americas, with going even to Guyana. Small ships, we bought the 6D types, as you have seen, smaller ships which are specialized for that service, which is now with one ship we went up the Amazon River, up to Peru, to Iquitos. So if we say it's not possible, that doesn't mean it's too heavy. That including all South American high tide ports, including Amazon River up to Iquitos. This is our, let's say, this is our common, let's say, legacy, our reputation, and now in this company. Not only hard, let's say, heavy and over-dimensional, but also maybe remote ports.
And you just touched on new buildings, so tell us about the Orca Class and the features that they change in terms of what you can offer the customers that you couldn't before.
Maybe we could offer very similar service, but it's always a combination. A combination, the Orca with these 2 times 800 tons, fully electrical cranes. That is, let's say, the hardware. But if you look into the details, if it's an ice class, this combination was not available, let's say 2 times 800 tons with ice class, but obviously time is important. By the way, it's also parallel to surgery. Speed and quality is always a kind of saying, it's a kind of joke. Speed and quality, but quality comes first. But without speed, everything is nothing. So it cannot take forever. Then the patient will also die. So here's the same. I think we have created something very, very exceptional, that the new ships can go for 19 knots. 19 knots and still having record-breaking consumption. And that is, of course, something which not fits together. As you may have read, that this design is done by us. There is no design company involved except ourselves. And that means in this ship is included not only technical, let's say, specification, some consumption, it is the experience of the whole company, because we worked on that quite a lot. So I'm ultra proud. And maybe you will find it boring, but I can advertise this because so many people spend not only hours in the office, really part of their lives for that project. So 19 knots, still the consumption We have two different main engines, and then we can put the shaft generators on the main switch, so that we can have full power, but we can also go with one main engine, and then we still have 11.5 knots with 9 tons. Then we can add another main engine. Then we are at 15.5. Then we are at 18 knots, 18 tons. So ultra competitive when it comes to consumption.
Yeah.
If you give me the order to go 90 knots, forget about the consumption. Then we are quite thirsty. But if you go from Baltic Sea to Japan, if it's urgent, if the production is stopping, we can save you 10 days compared to our competitors. 10 days is a lot.
And these vessels are methanol ready, right?
Yeah.
But there's obviously still a huge question mark around future fuels.
Yeah, this is yesterday on this nice event. It was always a topic. It was a bigger topic 1 year ago with the alternative fuels and so on. It is still a topic because we don't know, right? Nobody knows, but we don't know either. So meaning we have it prepared. In the moment, nobody is really willing to pay the price differential, but this vessel is built for 30 years. 30 years. Everything is focused on 30 years. That means most likely this is more or less when I expect to die. So it is a long time. What I want to say is we don't know what happened, but one thing is for sure, this will be a topic. So we did everything we can put methanol, green methanol to the engine, then we can switch to diesel again. We will see we have a huge battery in this system. This huge battery is peak shaving the energy from the crane. This battery also helps us in producing no emissions at all in certain ports. So all this is, and that is our industry, right? It's about flexibility and optionality. If green methanol becomes available and people will pay for it, because still we have to be the cheapest, always. Yeah, then we are prepared. Yeah? Let's say it's like a plan B in the pocket. Yeah, yeah. But it is more as a plan B. Everything is already there.
Hi, it's David here from Breakbulk. Thanks for checking out Voices of Breakbulk Europe, our collaboration with PCP. For over 20 years, Breakbulk Europe has connected the global project cargo community, bringing over 11,000 professionals from 120 countries to Rotterdam. Make sure to register for your ticket online so you can join us at the Rotterdam Ahoy from June 16th to 18th. Enjoy the podcast and see you at Breakbulk Europe.
This series is sponsored by Rhenus Project Logistics, who deliver turnkey solutions across the project lifecycle. They specialize in managing complex cargo using a mix of transport modes, including sea, rail, air, and heavy haulage. With a strong global network, in-house engineering, and access to their own assets, including terminals, barges, and vessels, Rhenus helps reduce risk, improve efficiency, and maintain control throughout the supply chain. Find out more via the link in the description below. And energy clients in particular are putting a lot of pressure on shipping partners to deliver emissions reductions. How's that showing up in your day-to-day commercial discussions?
It is in all the tenders. You have to deliver all the documents what you have done as a company, and in your ESG report you have to show your consumption. Partly it has an influence, and it will have an influence. As always, clients are very creative in trying to get, let's say, in this kind of segment documents, especially in the DP2, let's say, vessels. We are converting Svenja to a DP2 vessels, helping for installation jobs in the, let's say, in the Baltic and also in the North Sea, very capable, and the consumption will be quite very much, let's say, less than with our competitors. But clients cannot expect that we can, let's say, that we solve the problem with the fuels. They have to provide them. Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about integration in the industry, because there is a bit of a trend for shipping lines to buy freight forwarding companies or even asset owning companies. Yeah. You guys have Combi Lift. How do you expect this trend to develop in the next few years?
It is a trend. For Kühn und Nagel, Hapag-Lloyd, yeah, Maersk and Martin Bencher.
Martin Bencher, yeah.
For us, it was for us it is maybe it's even the same story for us, but in a different scale, obviously. So with Combi lift, we are focusing with our business model in heavy lift, obviously, and so our project forwarding company, Combi Lift. That was in the Middle East. Our presentation there.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
Yes. Yeah.
So then you have seen our booth and how busy it was.
Yeah.
So we are focusing on the big project because we think what we learned and on the shipping we can also use there, and then we can offer, let's say, a better service to a customer, and that is a vision. It's a vision about networking. It's a vision about having direct access to clients, and not only, let's say, but it is not a volume-focused, let's say, strategy. Yeah? Your question was different. Can that continue? Will that continue? Yeah. In heavy lift, there are not so many rich owners which could afford, let's say, to buy something. So we also have to develop. We have to work for it. We cannot buy it. We are not one of the big shipping lines. Can it continue? I don't know. But that would be, if it would be continue, then a freight forwarding company could buy a heavy lift owner. That could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your door open?
No, our door. This is what I said with the Orca for 30 years. So no. We are no. Really no interest. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a nice interview with MJ in Dubai before, and he was explaining, that often they book with other carriers, and it's not the case. They're independent and so on. But what would you say to your freight forwarder customers on the shipping side who might prefer that you stick to ships and then don't get involved in the forwarding? Leave that to them.
Look, as you can imagine, this is especially on these events like yesterday. Shipping people and logistics, they love gossip, and they also love to complain, and that is a typical complaint what I got.
But it's a reasonable thing to say, isn't it?
It's a reasonable
thing. Customer of yours.
But I also have to say, okay, but if you are really in the industry, then to survive as a project forwarder is very difficult, and you have to work very hard, and you have to have a very good network, and then you have to have a good idea, and then you have to have good employees, and then you can make a little margin, and then you have to repeat it 20 times, and then you earn money.
Yeah.
So is there any room, what do you think, if you would be a forwarder, project forwarder, any room if you need ocean freight? Yeah, any room, only I always take Martin ships. If you're part of the group or not, there's not one single room. Yeah. We as a shipping company, we have to supply the rates, and they have simply to take the best, which is the best for their customer. And this as it is. And MJ, because and this is also how it works. The only thing what is then, best regards MJ, is he's complaining that he's not getting, let's say, that everything is too expensive. Our engineering, we had a shared service thing, so he's charged for everything.
Yeah.
So I think with most of his customers, he's more polite than with us, and vice versa. Yeah. So Chinese walls, of course, Chinese walls. We have Chinese walls, but it is even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most shipments are not done with SAL, first of all. And also other freight forwarders are also very important customers. I think we do a lot for Deutco, for example. They have these ships. We all have to perform. Deutco books us because we are performing, and we are quoting everybody as good as we can, and that's it. So this is such a small industry as you can see in all our events, we stick not only to ships because we are eager. What I'm dreaming of, that we have a multi-billion-dollar project, and we can just say we do it, everything. Not because we are greedy, because I think that is the best solution. Including engineering, we have on our ships, our seafarers, right? Our seafarers. My son is on sea. My son. We have our engineers. The vessels are with us in 30 years. Annemieke is not 30 years, but she will be soon 30 years. We know everything from the vessel. Our seafarers, our engineering, our salesperson, the same. It is logical, if you have to build up a refinery, that we are not there, obviously, that we are reducing any interface what is possible. And that gives us, by the way, our reputation. If you ask the customers, our reputation is quite good when it comes to execution, and that is that everything is connected. If we say we want to do it this way, it is our ship. Partly even no banks involved, it's our ship, our seafarers, so we can do a decision.
Yeah. And in terms of geopolitics, there's been a huge amount of upheaval, Red Sea, Panama Canal, tariffs. Are any of these things structural changes that are going to affect where your business comes from in the future? Or are these just short-term shocks that you've got to deal with somehow?
We don't know. Huh? We don't know what is short-term. How long will the war in Iran be on? 2 weeks? 2 years? We don't know. Huh? Yeah. 10 years? We don't know. At the beginning of the Ukraine war, I thought, it's just a little thing. Yeah. But several months and then it will be finished. Has to be finished. Yeah, I think it is. It is very important that you know. You, me, everybody. We know that we don't know, and that is an old, let's say, philosopher said that, Descartes, and that is here the same. We cannot be influenced by that. It is also only influencing our psychology, right? So if you, on the weekend, if you see these development, then you are scared. Then my wife was scared of flying from Australia, and people are, let's say, stranded at the airport, and then you see the bombs in the hotel in Abu Dhabi. This is scary. But when we order something, or if we do something, then often we do it, let's say, really for the long term. And do you think, how likely is it that heavy lift and multi-purpose ships are used, let's say, or is a demand for in 10 years? What? Almost 100%. Almost 100%, I guess. Still, the market will be, let's say, volatile, right? So it will be ups and downs, and we have to always make sure that we have the breadth for the downs. But there will always be ups. And the geopolitical, if you have these things, of course, then I'm thinking, what does it mean now? One ship is trapped for us, and that's costing money, and so on and so on. But at the end of the day, if you think about the last 20 years, you have negative effects, but also there is hope, right? Yeah.
And closer to home here in Germany, when I talk to people, I'm not sure if it's a bit like the UK, perhaps we've got different problems, but here I do hear people complain about Germany and the business climate. What do you think needs to be done as a German owner of a German company to improve business here in Germany?
Here in Germany?
Yeah.
You mean the business in general, the industry?
Exactly.
Oh, better schools, better university, yeah. A little bit more ambition, a little bit less, let's say, making yourself responsible, yeah. It is a shame that we missed all that we coming from a country with all the patents and new ideas, and now we are only following others, yeah. So better universities, better school, not so much transfer payment. If you are not able to work, of course, everybody has to, let's say, be covered, but only to a minimum.
You're talking about welfare.
Welfare, and we have to be very, very careful with that, but we have to give everybody the option to make something out of their life. With free schools, very good schools, free university, that would be, there's still room. Otherwise, I fear that we are more or less industrialized. In Germany, I think that is the same what in Britain.
Yeah,
it's partly happening. Yeah,
correct.
If you only do, let's say, advising and filling out Excel spreadsheets, that's not enough.
Yeah, and similar problems, ballooning welfare payments.
Yeah, the Great Britain, the empire is on the same way of disaster. Yeah, this is not only Germany. Yeah? We all in Europe, we are always so proud of ourselves, but if you go to America and Asia, they are really different. Also, if it comes to our future, we'll be solving our problems, not with regulation, not with administration, not saying we not allowed to do this, it's not allowed to burn this. It's with science. I'm 100% sure. Science into new ideas, if it comes to energy or health, whatever. And these energies, I fear, coming from Asia and the US, more and more and more, it used to come from us. Yeah, but we are too lazy. But it's not for me, for my colleagues. We are in shipping, so we are general. We are international anywhere.
You don't care where the business comes from?
I care because I'm still living here, and I would be proud. I would be proud, and also there is also hope. We have these in Siona, in Corona days.
Yeah.
One of these vaccination came from Germany. Yeah? Turkish immigrants, first generation, came with nothing, and did and built up this science center in Tübingen.
Right.
BioNTech. So there is still something.
There's still some hope.
There is still some hope. Yeah.
Are you an optimistic person in general?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. How and where do you want to grow the business in future? I saw you opened a first office in Africa a couple of years ago. Noticed you're not yet in Australasia. What expansion might you be looking at?
It is for sure. We always want to improve, let's say our service, and that our fleet is of course relevant. If you look at our age profile of our fleet, even we have done something on the new build side, as we discussed with Orcas, but this will not be enough. So we have to do something, but we have to do it carefully. And if it comes to expansion, then my first thing is consolidation. Also, these different to have the biggest heavy lift company, the widest service, for me the best and most qualified engineers in engineered heavy lift solution. That sounds big, but it is a niche in the niche. And to have an ambition also on the MPP side, to have a significant. That is not so easy to combine that, and that is what I focus on. We will have at the end of the year 80 ships, so there's no reason for us to grow. If there are opportunities, we will for sure work as always our ass off. Yeah, but there is no intention to grow. Yeah, maybe we grow
for the sake of it. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest risk in the heavy lift shipping industry at the moment? The biggest risk to your business?
Heavy lift and MPP in general. I'm a little bit concerned that 50% of our revenue, 55% for our company, but also for 50% comes from wind, from wind-related business. And that is of course a mega trend. It has always been energy in our industry, as everyone knows, but wind became more and more dominant. And the future of wind, I think the mega trend, it will always be more and more efficient, is still there, but there is a little bit of a dip. And if you look at our DP2 vessel, which is in the moment there, the Lohne, then for 28, 29, difficult. So, and if you would see that our whole industry would have a dip, let's say -20, -30% for all the others. This is installation, but the transport of towers and so on, that could be a dip. And if that is somehow combined with some more beautiful administration, it is always coming, then there could be a couple of difficult years ahead of us.
And we're recording this in the run-up to Breakbulk Europe in Rotterdam this year. As you said, you've been involved as speakers, exhibitors. Talk a bit about the Breakbulk events and why that's been so important for you as a company and what you get out of those events.
Breakbulk Europe in Rotterdam is, of course, the highlight of the year for us. And that is not just because your kind question. It is Rotterdam. We already speak about Rotterdam. We already made our reservations. We are on the SS Rotterdam, but also in the fair, what we do. We have 24 offices, and obviously flying and traveling is expensive. You avoid it, and our Brazil office stay in Brazil. But breakbulk, everybody's coming. So it's also it is 50% internal, I have to say, 50% with all the clients because everybody's coming. Yeah, that is worldwide. It is also exhausting, I have to say. Yeah, it's really exhausting. I would say it's even a liar would say I'm looking forward to it. But
I reckon you've got the energy to get through it.
People also might. People also, maybe we're looking forward to it, but afterwards, we are also happy if it's over. Yeah, and we will always
much deserved rest afterwards. Yeah.
Everybody is after the Thursday is going home, but we have even then an pure internal event on Thursday evening, and then team event on Friday, and we start on. It is really.
So they have to wait. They have to wait till Saturday to get a rest.
Yeah, for sure.
Crikey.
And that is somehow unavoidable. Everybody hates and loves it at the same time because it's the only option that you have. Everybody or many. Yeah.
And tell us about why you invested in a football club here in Bremen and how that fits into the master plan, or was that just a project of passion as well?
For sure, it is not fitting into any master plan. It is more or less, I would say, nonsense. Yeah, but as life is not only about business, right? Would be too short.
Yeah.
If it's music, you cannot explain why music is important. It is important, and also wasting time with friends is not also. But that is our nature, and one of my passions is always have been soccer, and unfortunately this club. It is really annoying for everybody around me. If you would see me if we lose, I know it is so stupid. Malte, by the way, is even worse. Yeah, he had a time in his life when he haven't missed one match.
Wow.
Home and away game for years.
Right.
Yeah, He missed Eisbein event because of Werder Bremen match, which is another highlight here. What I say is it is very serious, and I have some friends, which are more or less the same.
Yeah.
And club needed. We thought it could be a good strategic alliance. People with knowledge and people with a little bit of money. Yeah.
So I don't know whether to ask how the club's doing or how your investment's doing. Or are they both about even at the moment?
As you may know, Werder Bremen at the moment has had a victory on the weekend, which was a relief to everybody. And we play on Saturday against Union Berlin. So I think there's hope, but everybody is of course a little bit fearing that we are relegated to the second league, which would be a disaster. So it is. It's not about the money, it's just about the performance. We are a little bit unlucky, but of course we are optimistic. Long term, we will be Deutscher Meister anyway.
And just before we go, I want to ask you about your philosophy, which I like. I read your approach is that it's about getting things done, not finding excuses, action. How do you transmit those values when you're employing people all over the world? Presumably some of them will never meet you. How do you transmit that across the globe?
You are suggesting that I can transmit that. That is,
of course you can.
This is not giving, right? Everybody has a mentality to approach problems, and sometimes it's good to think about things twice, and sometimes it's good to get things done. Everybody has learned somehow, was shaped of his context and history. I have my way, and we mentioned teamwork, right? So, and teamwork does also mean that it's not one person. It is many persons. I have my role. In my role, I have to do this interview, which I like. Okay, yeah. But
sure.
I don't know what comes next. But and we have other people which are really responsible for engineering and if it's for chartering. And we spoke about my education, and you can assume that I cannot give too much advice how to do it right, Mr. Head Engineer. So I think our weakness is not that is only one person deciding everything. We have several persons. We are very good in finance. We are very good in marketing with Malte. We are very good with our 150 salespeople worldwide. Very, very experienced. We are very good in operation, and all of these departments, ship management are they're captains. Two of them, they're captains for 20 years. Sebastian Wessler on our ships even. He doesn't has to copy me with a hands-on approach. He has his approach. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
And final question. I'm not sure whether it was a joke or not, but I read that when you approached your father and said that you wanted to join the business, he tried to talk you out of it. What do you say when your kids approach you? And you said that one of your sons is already in the business, so I think we can guess. But tell us, what's your response if one of your children wanted to join the business?
Welcome. Yeah, of course, welcome. And it was, by the way, not my father, my mother. Yeah. So and
your mother tried to talk you out of it.
Not out of it, into it.
Oh, okay.
Into it.
Right.
Into it. And here with my children, yeah. We will see. So obviously, I would be very happy. I have two sons, one daughter. Two of them, the younger one, they are studying medicine. One in Hamburg, one in Rostock. They love it. The other one is in the business. He's now on Regine. In the moment, I don't know, Baltic Sea still, I guess, on the way to Indonesia.
Great.
So we will see. So, but that for sure it would be, but it would be nice. But no pressure, no plans. It's not good to have plans here. Everything is possible.
And no regrets from you? You made the right move?
No regrets, because that doesn't help anyway, right? No, I'm happy. But I would also be happy in surgery. So
happy either way.
I would say so, yeah.
Martin, thanks very much.
Thank you for the nice and kind questions.
This series of Project Cargo Professionals is supported by Procam Group, a leading integrated project logistics company in India, specializing in heavy haul, chartering, installation, and global forwarding. Find out more about them via the link in the description below, and thanks to Procam for their support.